Alright, we are playing Joust on the Lynx. Now, I just want to let you know I'm not trying to blind you here with my technique. There actually is a method to my madness here, but I am playing Joust, and I played Joust before, but today we're playing it on the Atari Lynx. I wanted to show you this game, because I started to play this game after listening to the Atari Lynx Game by Game podcast. By the way, I'll have a link to that in the video description. I wanted to just kind of show you this game because I started to play it and I thought, man, it's so much different. It's kind of harder even than the Joust that I'm used to playing on the Atari 8-bit and the Atari consoles. You know, I feel like when I move around, it's kind of a lot more responsive, and I felt like, you know, I'm playing it on an emulator here, of course, and, you know, as I kind of run across the bottom of the screen, you know, and I try to come to a stop, it's like, man, I'm already halfway across the screen before I can stop. It feels so different. And the reason is because of the playing field, the difference in the playing field. So, obviously, you're playing this game on a much smaller screen. And, you know, to make it, you know, something that you can see on the screen, you know, they kind of up some of the character sprites, and the background is a little bit different. So, they make it work on this small screen. I mean, it looks like you're playing Joust. But look at that text that goes all the way across the screen. You know, I'm playing that in an emulator on a full screen. It's like, man, what's up with the text? But then obviously you kind of bring it down to the scale that it's supposed to be on the machine. You see, you know what? Everything they did for a reason. It looks good. It does actually change sort of the physics of the game, though. Like, I mean, I have a little bit of difficulty. I don't play well on this version, just because I'm not used to it. It does feel sort of different. But all in all, it's the same game. The sounds, of course, are familiar. The graphics look fantastic. I mean, the graphics look better than what I'm used to on the Atari 8-bit. It's a really great game. You know, the Atari Lynx is one that I never actually had any hands-on experience with. I always was interested in it. You know, I think technically it actually came out a couple of months before the Game Boy, but that's the market that it was targeting. I didn't know about it, though. The marketing for the Game Boy, of course, was huge, so that's what I knew. And then ultimately, the Game Boy sort of clobbered the Lynx in the market. You know, people were looking for, you know, games that they knew and enjoyed, that they can play, you know, portably, but in an inexpensive way. And I think that the Lynx price, because of the fact that it was such a major piece of hardware over the Game Boy, was priced higher. Now, I can remember seeing the Lynx actually priced at about $99 eventually, but that was towards the end of its life, and I think they were ultimately just trying to get rid of them. But I think when it came out, it was closer to, geez, I want to say it was closer to about 150, maybe even 180. Ah, look at this guy. Oh, I can pick that guy up. Ah, that's cool. I picked up the bad guy before he got on his bird, so that's good. That saved me. Anyway, it was an expensive device. It ultimately became a little bit more affordable. But you know, when you're looking at it when it was brand new, I mean, it was kind of like, geez, I don't know if I want to do this. But it was a beautiful machine. Obviously, it's going to feel and look a lot different on the actual machine, but it was a color screen, fully backlit. The device itself, you're looking at sort of a mocked-up Model 2 of the Lynx, but the device when it came out, oh, this guy, terrible. Anyway, let me go ahead and start over a game, and I'll just go ahead and keep going. But when the device first came out, it came out as a Model 1. It was kind of a beefy-looking machine. There was a lot too. It was pretty bulky, and it wasn't exactly what you would call portable. Of course, the Game Boy, by comparison, was, you know, sort of a thick piece of equipment, but you could certainly fit it in the back pocket of your jeans, for example. So it was technically, you know, pretty mobile. The Model 1 of the Atari Lynx was not. This is the Model 2. Of course, you're looking at sort of a zoomed-in version of the Model 2. And it was definitely more compact, but it was still sort of a beefy machine. There was a lot to hold on to. So it still never really fully qualified as portable, at least what you would expect a portable device to be. And then obviously as the Game Boy sort of evolved over time, that just got smaller and smaller. That Game Boy Pocket, that was like a foldable clamshell type of device, was the ultimate as far as portability was concerned. Anyway, so as you're watching me play this game, you know, the sounds are obviously, I think, spot on. The graphics look great. The graphics are a lot closer to what you would see in Joust on the Atari 7800. But because of the fact that you're playing on this smaller screen, you know, you actually, your character sprites, although they don't look like it when the screen is scaled down like this. And again, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make you blind, just trying to make you see kind of how it's supposed to look. You know, with the characters being sort of larger here, you know, you can cruise right across that screen. You can kind of get there fast. And like I was saying, when I run across the bottom here, Actually takes me a little more time to stop. And then you see that text that goes all the way across the screen. You know, when you're looking at that in emulation and you've got it on your monitor, for example, it's like, good lord, what are they doing with this text? Bring it down to size and it all makes sense. It's got to be readable. It looks terrific when you bring it down to size and put it in this sort of Lynx frame. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share sort of a visual of this game and what it looks like on the Lynx, and I was really inspired by the Atari Lynx Game by Game podcast. It's a terrific podcast, brand new. As of this recording, only one episode is out, but it's a really good episode. The guy who's running the podcast, his name is Christian, very knowledgeable of the hardware and the software. It's clear that you know, he's a fan of the device. He's a fan of the software and the games. I don't like that guy. That guy just scares me in every version of Joust that I play. Anyway, it's certainly worth your time to check out that podcast, so check out my video description, and I'll link to that. Let's see if I can survive this before I bring the video to a close. There's two of them. Oh, my goodness. Two of them. I don't think I've ever seen that. Anyway, I somehow managed to stay alive. But like I was saying, terrific podcast. I recommend it. Look for that in the video description. I'll see if I can survive a little bit here. It's getting pretty manic. It's not looking good for me. Anyway, that's going to bring my video to a close. I do thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate you bearing with me and not going blind. I've got one more that I want to play on the Atari Lynx. It's called Blue Lightning. So look for that in a couple of days. Again, thank you very much for watching me, and I will see you in the next video.